John was working in his science lab, got blasted by gamma rays. Now he's Smash Trivia John, always smashing. He's friends with Ruffalo, crushing on Maslany, and also Sydney Sweeney. John's here saying, hello my gamma friends, welcome to the show, the Gamma Analysis Podcast.
Smash.
Hello, my Gamma friends. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and I also do random other geeky films. Hope you enjoy. Smash Trivia presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening to please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now let's smash right into this episode. Today, we're reviewing The Monkey with my friend Falcon from the Movies Hate Sarah podcast. How are you doing, Falcon?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yes. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit before we started recording about how this film, like it very much divided audiences and like. I think there's a lot of people there's a lot of people that did not know what they were getting when they went into it, which is very surprising because like the trailer very much made it clear what this film was.
I agree.
And also like the marketing, like you don't have for a serious film does not make a big part of their marketing being saying this film is fucked up.
Yeah.
No serious film has that as part of their marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I thought the trailer made it very clear what you were getting. Definitely more so than his last film. And I think that there were way too many people who were expecting essentially just long legs again.
Yeah, which I expected it might be a little bit of that, but really. Only in the aspect of it being a complex story, which it is a complex story. That's like the only thing I was expecting to be similar to Long Legs, because I'm thinking because Long Legs is the only thing I've ever seen from Osgood Perkins before this, so I think that's a pretty reasonable expectation. But seeing as from the very beginning, it's always been listed as a horror comedy. All of the marketing says it's a horror comedy. I don't know why people expect it would be like serious.
Yeah, I'd seen, in addition to Long Legs, I'd also seen Gretel and Hansel, which came out a few years prior to that, which I also liked, and also it has its own very distinct tone to it. Mm-hmm. So I was very happy that he can play on all different kinds of tones and make all different kinds of movies. I think that's a sign of a pretty good filmmaker when you don't just give people the same thing over and over again. And I was laughing my ass off the whole time. Well, yeah. I thought it was hilarious.
Same. I was laughing about just about every single kill in the film that happened. Because they're all so ridiculous, and also just different jokes throughout the film. So I guess simple as Tatiana Maslany saying, I'm not going into your room anymore, or after I found a crusty sock.
Yeah. That's Tatiana. What's her last name again?
Maslany.
Yeah, that's right. I thought she was great as the mom. I thought she stole the scenes that she was in. It was amazing. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's for me, it's kind of a weird day when I agree with Grace Randolph on a movie and all of the other people out there are trashing it. I find myself in a weird situation when that happens.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same about that. Grace Randolph is not the one I like very much.
She's not my go-to. If I listen to her reviews just because I'm usually my opinion on something's usually opposite of what hers is.
So,
And the other ones I can usually vibe with a little bit more, and this was the exact opposite, and it was so weird to me.
oh man, yeah.
Especially
Oh,
since one reviewer said something about it not being about anything, or that it just didn't seem to have any sort of uh, theme or anything. And I was like, it's about people coping with loss,
mhm. Yeah.
especially when you learn about Osgood Perkins's history with losing both of his parents and how they both went tragically. And that he's finding humor in something that's really dark and painful.
Oh yeah, which like I'm very much someone who thinks that deep topics don't have to be serious for films. And I think it's weird that
Yeah,
a lot of people think that they must be serious. Like I had a pretty rough upbringing, and I've said before, and I'll say it again. Like if I was ever to make a movie about my upbringing, I would absolutely like bring light to like the dark stuff that I dealt with. I would also try to make sure there's a hell of a lot of humor in there
yeah,
because I don't want people to think that dark arc serious stuff is what defines me. I
yeah,
want I like the idea of having the we're undercutting that at a little with this humor to be like that was to say like that awful stuff that happened is a part of my story, but it's not who I am.
yeah, exactly. And a little bit of humor helps diffuse some of the heavy themes in a movie, and that's how a lot of people I know, myself included, find a way to cope when you're having really hard times. Is you find a way to laugh, so that way you can get through it.
Yeah, yeah, I particularly like the idea of one sign, and this might be a bit of an overshare, but there was this moment in my childhood where my dad was chasing me throughout the
Hmm.
house, and I thought I was gonna die
Oh,
if he caught me. If I was to make a movie and include that in the film, I want to put Looney Tunes music over that.
yeah, something to
Like,
help people get through that.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
100%.
it's this really dark thing, but I want to put that the Looney Tunes music over it and just and like have I would have a lot of funny music like in it. I would have like I would put like Weird Al. I put like Smash Mouth stuff like that
Yeah,
in it.
yeah, no, I agree completely. That makes total sense.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I absolutely loved it. I think that all of the actors gave such great performances. Like I particularly loved Tatiana Maslany in it because I'm a big fan of her.
Yeah,
And I'm really hoping that people seeing this and people being over the moon over this, and also with her next Osgood Perkins film that comes out in October. I'm really hoping that might light a fire under Marvel's toes. Be like, hey, you should make that She-Hulk season 2.
yeah, yeah. I would watch it. I liked the first She-Hulk season very much, as a matter of
Oh
fact. And
yeah,
I thought, now I didn't read the comic book when I was younger, so I don't really know firsthand, but I did know enough about it peripherally that it was also meant to be very humorous. I think there was a lot of fourth wall breaking in that too.
mm-hmm.
Years before Deadpool did it,
Yeah,
and
and
the show was congruent with that.
yeah, and also like a big thing the show did, which a lot of people for some reason had a problem with, it really shows that they did not read the comics is the fact that it's a very progressive show that calls out sexist and misogynistic people, which her comics that was a big thing that they
Yeah,
did all the time. It was a part of why they created her. Or Stan Lee wanted to have a way to be able to comment on the rampant sexism of the 80s,
yeah,
80s and 70s.
yeah. Of course. And honestly, I think the show didn't dealt with that very, very well. I don't think that, there was a lot of
Mm.
complaining that anytime she said anything, I was like, it's not like they're beating you over the head with it.
Yeah, no.
Like they of course have to, address these themes, but they're not only doing that.
Mhm.
I've seen other shows and movies where the entire movie is just that, and you're waiting for the actual
Yeah.
story to start. And She-Hulk was the exact opposite. It gave you a very entertaining show, and in it, yes, it also dealt with some themes.
Yeah. Now, one actor that's in the Monkey that I was very surprised by because this was not in the market at all beforehand. The Adam Scott was
Yeah,
the beginning, and he was absolutely hilarious in it.
I think, and that's another thing. Even if you were maybe not sure walking into the theater, the second you see him, you have to know that
Oh,
you're dealing with something that's going to be funny.
I love seeing it after the pawn shop guy dies, be like, oh, there's a flamethrower here, here. Just goes absolutely crazy with it.
Yeah,
I love that. I love Adam Scott in general. Well, it, it kind of makes me want though to see a film where we get Tatiana Maslany and Adam Scott actually being a couple in it, and because
yeah,
I feel like they would actually have a lot of good chemistry together,
absolutely. I 100%
which
agree with
would
that.
be
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that would be really cool. So it saddens me that that he only appears at the beginning, so they didn't ever interact in the film.
Yeah, yeah, it was unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen him come back in some way later on in the film, but I get it. There's one story you're trying to tell.
Which I really do wonder, did the monkey end up killing him, or did he actually leave?
Just completely hit the road. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good thing that it leaves you with that question. It's like
Oh
not
yeah.
terribly important that you get a specific answer to that.
Which
You
I'm not
can
saying that that's like a criticism of the film they did.
No,
I'm just like I'm interested in knowing.
yeah, for sure.
Like, which like one thing though that is a question like the film itself asks at the very end. They're like, oh, what do we do with the monkey now?
Yeah,
Isn't it very simple? Just like not ever or turn the key again, and it should be fine, I would think.
yeah. I would definitely find some place to stash that key where it's pretty safe. Because I think doesn't he wear it on a necklace at some point?
I think yeah, so the I think the evil brother
Yeah,
does at some point, like, but yeah, I'm like, just take it like the key out of the thing and just keep it somewhere completely separate from it, and shouldn't ever have a problem, I would think.
yeah. That seems like a pretty simple solution. I mean, there might be some sort of morbid curiosity that draws people to turn the key, like not necessarily a curse or anything like that, but sort of this,
Mhm.
you know, intrusive thought that it projects on you. I mean, you could maybe explain it that way, but yeah, otherwise, it's a pretty simple way to stop the monkey.
Yeah, like I just like I take a trip to the complete other side of the world and leave the key there.
Yeah, yeah, pretty simple. Just put a little piece of tape over the keyhole, and you're good to go.
Yeah, maybe even paint over it so that people don't know that there was
Yeah,
ever even a key that you hold there.
yeah. There's a lot of really
You know,
simple, easy solutions.
one thing I was thinking about, particularly today, is a lot of Stephen King's stories are within a connected world, and makes me kind of wonder how would like some of Stephen King's other villains, and since a lot of them are like immortal, how would the monkey kill them? Go about trying to
Oh,
kill them
yeah,
if um somehow the monkey ended up choosing a one of them. I don't even know if this is actually connected to any of those, but I think that would be really cool to see.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
There was a Stephen King show a few years back, wasn't there?
TV show. I'm not sure.
There was like a TV
I
show that
think. Oh
was.
yeah, I think there might have been like something from Mike Flanagan on Netflix. It was a TV show from.
Yeah, I'm not positive. I know that I started watching it and it was set in the same town, but it had nothing to do with any of the stories that he's
Mhm.
had done before. There was like little nods in the background, like the Shawshank Redemption
Mhm.
prison was in the background somewhere or something, but it had really nothing to do with the actual any of the actual stories that
Yeah.
he had written before.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's just something that would be very interesting to me, and that mainly just because I love crossovers, so I'm just like my brain goes immediately to that with a lot of films. I was like, ooh, so this could cross over with them. Like that would actually be a really interesting thing. It was like, how what would the monkey try to do to kill Pennywise or
Yeah,
something? Like that would be
yeah.
hilarious.
I mean, I could see the monkey ending up at the store in Needful Things. That would be one way that it finds its way to someone.
Yeah, maybe it finds itself in the Overlook Hotel.
Exactly. You can kind of go pretty much anywhere with this thing.
uh, yeah. This, I think what about the film do I particularly want to talk about? Theo James and was doing this double role was really good as both brothers. I really liked him, and also like the actor playing the in them as a kid is as well was really good.
I thought those were twins. I'm here
I
coming to
don't
find out
know.
later that it was just a one actor playing both parts. The kid.
I wasn't sure whether it was. I was just assuming it was just one kid since they had one actor playing the adults.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wasn't even sure because I'm not that familiar with Theo James's work.
The only
Uh,
thing I've seen from him is the Divergent series.
I never saw any of those. So just in general, I've seen him. I want to say like a trailer here or there, but nothing in anything I've actually seen. But he was great in it. I thought he was, the film's all him,
Oh
so
yeah,
he's got to carry the entire thing the whole way. And I thought his evil brother persona was also insanely entertaining.
oh yeah, and I love the outfit that his brother creates.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, but that's why I love it.
yeah,
Like it reminds me of just like very classic
yeah.
villains like versus like nowadays a lot of villains are like, oh, we got to make this grounded and realistic, so we're gonna just like put them in black clothes and not but this is he Osgood Perkins just embraced the ridiculousness of it, which I
Yeah, absolutely.
love.
Yeah, he was great.
Oh yeah. I think. Hey, what else about this film? Should we talk about?
Now, did you notice a lot of people getting confused that this might have been a remake of Monkey Shines? I heard a lot of people thinking that they went in this thinking it was the same, like it was
Um,
a remake of that old movie.
not, um,
It was
I don't. I think there might have been. I might have seen some people saying stuff like that. I also saw some people saying like like how they think that Ink a film called The Monkey Paw similar
yeah.
or one thing I was thinking about that I thought was interesting and I don't know which Stephen King made first, the short story for this or it, because I there's definitely a similarity like the idea of like 20 some years later this thing
Yeah.
comes back and it makes me wonder, or do you get inspiration from this for it, or do you get inspiration from it for this?
He's done that a few times in his books, hasn't he? Where a character's
I'm not sure.
revisiting a trauma from the past. Yeah, it seems, for somebody as prolific as Stephen King, it makes sense for him to, reutilize, stories,
Yeah, makes
structures
sense.
that he'd done in the past.
Makes sense. Yeah, that was interesting. And when I realized that similarity, I think, I think, yeah. So I knew going into this film it was probably gonna be something I would like horror comedy is one of my favorite genres.
Same.
I love Stephen King. I love of Tatiana Maslany, and also like ever since I was a kid, I always loved of movies with monkeys in them.
Oh, okay.
Even though this is just a toy monkey, but still,
Yeah.
I was like I like that. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this film is just completely right up my alley, and I also like I didn't love, but I liked Osgood Perkins and previous film of Longley, so I'm like, yeah, this is probably gonna be something I like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
yeah, definitely. I think I don't. Uh, it's really annoying. I really say I a week after watching it because
Yeah,
you don't remember all the things in it.
yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna rewatch this when the next time I get
Oh
an
yeah,
opportunity to do so. Um, yeah, it hit it checked all the boxes for me, I'd
yeah,
say.
definitely. Are there any particular kills in it that you remember really liking? Like it. Yeah.
I kind of like them all. That closet shotgun kill is was pretty funny. I mean, anytime somebody just opens the door and just gets blown to bits, you can't help but enjoy that. And the swimming pool, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I, I particularly I think really liked their aunt's death of just because there's so many different and parts to it.
Yeah, that one's the one that got most Final Destination. I felt like.
And also the baby he says death was just so ridiculous because I'm like how how did that work out the sushi or
The hibachi
the
chef.
hibachi chef somehow got his knife close enough that it sliced all the way through her head.
It looked like he was flirting with her a little bit right prior
Yeah.
to that.
Mm-hmm. That was wild.
Yeah,
And also, I another thing that I really love with this film is just all of the is all of the funeral scenes. These are very funny, but like that
yeah,
pastor who absolutely does not feel like he has like the certifications or any
yeah.
training to be a pastor. You don't say a oh fuck in the middle of a funeral as a pastor.
Yeah, you get the impression that it was his first day on the job.
Oh man, oh, yeah. And and this is something that was it was in the trailers, but it's touching on this lady's speech about death to the little
Yeah,
boys was really good.
and straightforward. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
kind of parenting that I feel like I got when I was a kid. So
Mhm. Yeah, it was,
there's no point in bullshitting your kid.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. This just like I'm glad that you were willing to come on for this because I knew immediately after watching this I was like I'm going to want to talk about this with
Yeah,
someone.
yeah,
And this is not just a film that I'm gonna want talk about just about as myself of making like a short review on TikTok and YouTube
yeah,
or I want to talk about this on my podcast.
yeah, for sure. I think this is going to be one that gets a second life once it comes to streaming, once it comes to
Mm-hmm.
digital. I think you're just going to see a big swell of people talking about it then. There's some of those movies that don't make a lot of noise when they come out first in the theater, but once they hit uh, digital, then suddenly everyone starts talking about them.
Now, the post credit scene of the that was a teaser for his next film. I feel like it wasn't particularly bad or anything. It just I feel like it was very boring. Boring that teaser for teaser. I was just like,
Nothing really
I don't know.
happens in it,
Yeah,
so I can see
I was
that.
like, but this doesn't really feel like it's getting me excited for this. Which obviously the point was to get people excited for the next one, and it didn't
I
really
feel
do
like
that
it
much.
for a teaser. I felt like it intrigued me enough. Yeah, there's no, you can't glean anything from it as far as understanding what the story is going to be by any means. But I'm interested. I'm
Which
already down because I
I'm
like everything he's
oh
done.
yeah, absolutely, and and like it also just like this is going to be another horror comedy, and it's starring Tatiana Maslany again, so that's like it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely something I'm going to be going to see. And I think the one thing that confused me a little about it because it seems to be different from what we of what has been said in like the trades about Keeper is um in the trades it says that as that this film is basically gonna be only two actors. The actor are playing Tatiana Maslany's husband in it and Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah.
But this teaser has a whole bunch of different women in it.
Yeah, at least like four or five from what I
I was
recall, and
like,
it keeps
I
coming
don't know
back to
what
them.
this is. I don't know what is going on with this.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm fine with.
Which
To be honest with you, before I saw Long Legs, I unfortunately saw a trailer. Like I was really trying to avoid anything about that movie. I just wanted to go in completely blind. Um, but I went to the movies I think a week prior, and it showed the trailer ahead of it, and I got busted. Um, Otherwise, I wouldn't have known Nicolas Cage was in it. Like I didn't have any clue until I saw that trailer that he was going to be in it, and I was like, ah, man, that would have been great to find out in the theater.
Absolutely, and it was such a great performance from Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
hey, there are a lot of people who dog on Nicolas Cage, but I honestly think he's an absolutely amazing actor.
I mean, I'm interested anytime he does anything,
Oh yeah,
and anytime I see him in anything, his performance is always compelling.
oh yeah, and it's always crazy, and I love crazy in films.
Yeah, yeah. Colorado Space was
Oh yeah.
a good one. I thought he was super weird in that as well, especially when he has this little Nicolas Cage freak out
Mm-hmm.
towards the end. I thought it was great.
I love, this is kind of an obvious one in recent years, but um, it, the unbearable weight of massive talent is
Oh
just
yeah,
absolutely amazing. That they decide like that, and one that and I don't think many people have watched, but I ended up really loving is called Mom and Dad. Have you seen that?
I love that movie.
Oh
I
yeah,
tell people
it's
about
so
it
good.
all the time. It's the same guys who did the Crank movies,
I
if I'm
think so.
correct, and also like the second Ghost Rider movie. He's worked with those guys before. But I love that movie. I love Selma Blair's amazing in it. I love that they don't really have to feel burdened to over explain what's happening in the movie. You
Mhm.
just get the premise and it just runs.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like or that's a film that the directors are actually like trying to get a sequel off the ground with, which
Really.
I think is gonna be interesting. I kind of like the idea of actually like getting to explore this idea of like while the parents are still trying to kill their kids, their parents are coming for them
Yeah.
as well. And I think that would be really fun to see it explored as a full film.
Yeah, you got to see
Uh,
Lance Henriksen going nuts. That was it was a great
oh
movie. I
yeah,
really liked it a lot.
so good. Like I think there's a lot of gems in his direct to video work that a lot of people haven't seen just because they just think it must be bad because it's direct to video
Well,
films.
even just because of the sheer volume of movies that he makes, he's so busy and he's always putting something out. Even as a fan of his, it can be difficult to see everything that he
Mm-hmm.
does.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of them I haven't seen but like I want to check out all the ones that I haven't just because I'm like I know that no matter how weird or wild they are, or maybe even and if they're not good at all, I know I'm gonna enjoy them because of his performance.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I still got a couple more. I got a few on the list from very recent years that I haven't
Yeah.
gotten to. So
I,
I'm gonna definitely check those out as well.
One particular one I really want to check out because I've heard so many good things about. I haven't seen it yet. Is Mandy? Yeah, I've heard so much about
I
that.
love Mandy as well. I really like Cosmos. I'm blanking on his last name, but I love his movies too. I liked Beyond the Black Rainbow, which Beyond the Black Rainbow is a little difficult to hang with because it's pretty slow burn, if that's the term to use. But the atmospheric quality of it really does a lot for me. And Mandy is most certainly just one of my favorite movies
Mm.
from recent years.
Yeah. Now, one last thing I want to ask you about is um in the future for Osgood Perkins films, what are some actors you would really like to see him work with? I think
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I'm always down to see Samara Weaving show up in a horror
uh,
movie. Anytime she does something, I'm there.
yeah,
So that would be great. Yeah, any of the people who've been in who was the guy? Dan Stevens was his name. He was in Abigail.
yeah.
I think he's great in everything he does. I
Okay.
thought he was awesome in Cuckoo and obviously Abigail. So it would be great to see him show up in something that I think he's also really good at balancing humor and horror in the movies that he does. Abigail's a perfect example of that. Yeah, I'd like to see some of them show up in
Yeah,
an
I
Osgood
could
Perkins
I
movie.
could absolutely see a sign like that. I love all of those. They like see um he's since he's been doing a lot of like more wild films lately. I could absolutely see Mark Ruffalo showing up in an
Oh yeah,
Osgood
oh
Perkins
yeah, for
film.
sure.
He would be great. It And just because I love these actresses like Haley Steinfeld,
Oh
Sydney
yeah,
Sweeney, like if you get well,
yeah, I can see that.
yeah, yeah, I don't think there's as much else to really talk about for this review. So I'm gonna start winding this down. Are there any last words you'd like to say?
I mean, I'm always down to watch brand new horror movies. I'm glad that there's some very interesting directors out there who aren't afraid to hang their hat on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Corley Fregeau, who did The Substance this last year,
Oh yeah.
and Osgood Perkins. There's people who are, making big names for themselves in the horror space without being ashamed of it. I love to see that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I particularly love like stuff like with Osgood Perkins and Carly I can't remember
Fregeau, I think it
for now.
was. Yeah.
Like
I'm not.
I particularly love stuff like them because like they're going into they're doing the horror genre, but they're not trying to do elevated like in in horror or like stuff like Ari Aster tries to make a horror more or into like Oscar baity films. I feel like
Yeah.
so I appreciate that these ones like Oscar Perkins and Corey are just embracing the horror
Absolutely.
genre and giving us like a and I rather like the monkey over long legs and like with monkey and with the substance it's embracing the ridiculousness of horror films and that's what I
Yeah.
really love
Yeah. They're not
and
afraid to go there.
it's kind of bringing that very classic feel of horror films to a more mainstream audience and which I think is going to give I think a lot more people see horror films. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, since that's really everything to say, um, everyone, please check out Falcon on the Movies Hate Sarah podcast, which is a hilarious name for a podcast, man, and I love that name.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please check him out on the podcast. Thank you everyone for listening. And if you like this game analysis, please give it a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the movie, so please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more game analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Master John, signing off.